Hello everybody, this is Karma Killed the Cat, and I'm going to be starting a beginner C++ tutorial. The first step to our tutorial will be learning how to download and install what we'll be using to write and run our code. And you're going to want to Google Microsoft Visual Studio Express and click on this option. It should be the first one. And wait for it to load. It should take you to this page, and there will be a few different options. And the first and last one you can ignore. If you have Windows 8, you're going to want to download the one for Windows 8. If you have Windows 7, you're going to want to download the one for desktop. Or if you have a Windows phone, download the one for Windows Phone. So I'm going to use a desktop and read the system requirements. Make sure your computer can handle it. You'll know if they don't. And so read this. After 30 days, you'll have to sign into Microsoft.com. It's pretty easy and shouldn't take too long. And also make sure you're downloading the Express Edition. Don't download Ultimate. And you're going to want to click the first option in the left column, Install Now. I'm not going to click it because it will mess up my recording, and also I already have it. So the installation is pretty self-explanatory. Just hit Continue. You're probably going to have to agree to terms and conditions. Just hit Agree. And then you should be in Visual Studio. Alright, so once you've installed Visual Studio, open it and you should get to a program that looks similar to this. The difference is that I'm using the 2013 edition of Visual Studio and you should be using the 2012 edition. I'm using the 2013 edition because for some reason my recording software won't work with 2012. Another thing it won't do is it won't let me record multiple windows at the same time, so I won't be able to show you exactly how to create a new project, but I can give you a walkthrough without looking at it, and hopefully you'll be able to figure it out. So you're going to want to click New Project, and once you click that, a window will pop up and in the left column will be a list. One item in the list will say Visual Basic, another will say Visual C Sharp, and the next will say Visual C++. Click on Visual C++, and in the middle of the screen there will be another list, and in that list you'll see Win32 console application. So click on that, and then at the bottom you'll be able to name your project whatever you want, and also control where the project saves on your computer. So after you get that how you like, just make sure you clicked on Visual C++ and Win32 console application. Then you're going to want to click Next, and you'll get to a page that just has some text on it. Just click Next again, and then you'll see a page that has some check boxes on it. And the only thing you want to change with these check boxes is there will be a box that says Empty Project in it, and you're going to want to check that if it's not already checked. It shouldn't be. So after that, click Finish, and then you should be... So now you should be at a page that looks like this. And we need to create a file now to write our code in. But again, unfortunately, my recording software won't let me show you exactly how to do that, but the process is even simpler than creating a new project. So in the right column over here, you should see a thing called Source Files with a picture of a file next to it. And you're going to want to right-click that, and then the first thing the list that pops up should be Add. So hover over Add, and then another list will pop up, and click New Item in that. That should take you to a new window that will have two options, C++ source file and in parentheses .cpp, and there will also be C++ header file in parentheses .h. So click on C++ source file, and then at the bottom of the page again you'll be able to name the file whatever you want. So name it what you want and then click Add. Alright, so now the program should look like this, and now we'll finally be able to start writing our code. So to make sure everything works, I'm just going to teach you a simple program that outputs text to the screen, and I'll tell you how to compile and run code, and then you'll know how to use Visual Studio. So the first line in this program is number sign, include, and then in pointy brackets or the less than greater than signs, you're going to want to type IO and then stream. And then hit enter twice. And the next line, or actually I'll tell you what all the lines do. what IOStream is it's a group of files that handles input and output from the console and to the console, and include just runs those files so that we can use them. So next line is int space main, and then open parentheses, close parentheses. Visual Studio does that for you. And what this is this is a function. We'll get into what functions are later, but just know that the main function is where the program starts. So it will start after this first curly bracket, and it will end at this closing curly bracket. And these curly brackets just signify where the function starts and ends. So we're going to have two lines in main, and the first one is standard, colon, colon, and what that is it's a namespace. What namespaces are is they just help organize code and make it so that two libraries that you've downloaded don't clash and you don't have two things with the same name. We'll get into libraries later. But for now, just know that you have to put that before certain statements in C++. And then after that, we do count, or cout, and then space, two less than signs, open and close quotes, write whatever you want, and then space, two more or less than signs, and then standard, colon, colon, and L. That's another thing that's in the standard namespace. And what this is this is a line that, well, what count does is it outputs anything past these two less than signs to the screen. So test will be output, and then what endline does is it tells the console that it needs to start a new line instead of continuing on the same line. So to show you that, we'll just do standard count again, and then do test2, and then instead of standard endline, we'll just put a semicolon here. And what the semicolon does is it signifies the end of a statement, and a lot of lines will have this, but some won't, like include IOStream. Anything with the number sign in front of it won't have this. Functions don't have this, and some other lines don't have it, but you'll use this for most lines of C++ code. So now the program's done, and to compile it, you want to hit F7 on your keyboard, and on the bottom of the screen you should see text pop up, and it should say build, 1 succeeded, 0 failed, 0 up to date, and 0 skipped. So that means it built properly, and if it says 0 succeeded, 1 failed, and then 0 up to date and skipped, then that means you probably made a typo somewhere. So just make sure everything's spelled right and try hitting F7 again. And I'm not going to do this because, again, it'll mess up my recording, but if you hit Control F5, that will run the program, and what you should see is test, and then on a new line it should say test2, and then right after that press any key to continue, not on a new line, and then ... So just press a key and that will close the console window. And the reason that press any key to continue wasn't on a new line is because we didn't have standard endline here. So if we want that on a new line, we either do standard endline again, or you could just do \n. And that does the same thing. And so we'll build it again, or compile it, and then run it again, and press any key to continue. Should be on the same line. So that's all for this tutorial. In the next tutorial we'll get into variables, all the different types, how to use them, how to output them to the screen, and also user input. So, see you in the next tutorial.